Tonight, there's the reopening of another theatre that once seemed finished. The Grand Theatre, Blackpool, closed in 1972 and was then rescued from bingo by a trust which raised £250,000 to buy it. A report now from Martin Henfield.
The Grand Theatre, once known as the prettiest theatre in the kingdom, was turned over to bingo 4 years ago. It was a final attempt by the theatre's owners, EMI, to make it pay. Bingo was only introduced because an action committee had prevented the theatre being demolished to make way for a department store. Much of the restoration was carried out by EMI, but the design and decor was never meant for a housey. This was a live theatre. 9 months ago, the committee, calling itself Friends of the Grand, bought the theatre with the help of grants from local councils, a lottery and even a brewery. The Grand was restored to its original purpose, and Blackpool had an all-the-year-round theatre once again. Tonight, the Grand opens with Shakespeare, but future productions will include an Agatha Christie thriller, old-time music hall, and the D'Oyly Carte opera. The doors to the dress circle tonight, they'll be wide open for a full house, and that's the way it's going to be most of the week. But the acid test of the North West Theatre revival is how full the theatres are going to be in a year's time. Here at the Grand, they're reviving the tradition of the summer play, and they're under no illusions that that play, in this case the Mating Game starring Barbara Windsor, is going to have to subsidise many of their winter productions.
I do think we can fill all the year round, to a very high percentage anyway. I mean, no one fills completely, but I think we can fill both with weeks of production and with audiences. I think there's a great opportunity. It's the finest theatre site in the country. Without a doubt, must be one of the best in Europe, on the main shopping streets.
How is what you've got to offer going to differ from the normal Blackpool style of entertainment?
Basically, we're going back to a style that Blackpool used to have some of in the past, which is a high-quality classical drama, straightforward drama. It will be a mix, of course. It will be light comedies and as wide a mix as possible. But I think probably the big answer, the main answer to your question is mix. A mixture of things in the one theatre, not just presenting the same sort of fare all year round, but as wide a variety as possible.
Wardrobe mistress June Browning unpacks the costumes for the Old Vic's touring production of Macbeth. But what success will Shakespeare have in a town more noted for kiss-me-quick hats and holiday fun? The stars of the production are husband and wife Timothy West and Prunella Scales.
Well, we hear the bookings are very, very heavy, so we're very encouraged. I mean, we've both played the Grand Theatre in the past on tours. And
mind you, I was last here with Brian Riggs. But
I was last year with Nicholas Parsons, so, well.
We seem to be having something of a theatre reopening and revival here in the North West. Palace last week, Grand this week, and good bookings for other theatres too. Is this common around the country or just up this part of the world?
I think you've led the field a bit. It's very encouraging to see theatres like this one, which is such a beautiful theatre, being reclaimed. And used, because I have a theory that as the leisure problem gets worse and unemployment gets worse, people are going to want to go to the theatre more, and part of that enjoyment is, I think, to come to a beautiful building like this one that works so well.
This might be a great moment for the Grand, but not necessarily for the Old Vic as a touring company. You've got your problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's rather sad that we're kind of saying hail and for the moment farewell. We have, as you say, had our touring grant removed from us this year by the Arts Council, and it will be, I'm afraid, some little time before we can get the resources together again to come out on the road.
The immediate future for the Grand looks good, but are we seeing a general North West theatre revival or just a passing phase? Only time will tell.
Well, away manufacturers all over the country. And now they're about to launch
Manchester. But the Palace is by no means the whole story. Tonight in Blackpool, the resort's lovely old Grand Theatre reopens after 8.5 years. It's been used as a bingo hall recently, but a group of supporters called the Friends of the Grand have bought it and helped to renovate the 1,200-seat theatre, which first opened with Hamlet in 1894. And it reopens tonight with more Shakespeare, this time the Old Vic production of The Merchant of Venice, starring the famous husband and wife team of Prunella Scales and Timothy West. They'd had problems getting to Blackpool. They'd landed at Liverpool Airport instead of Manchester, but I joined them this lunchtime on the stage. Welcome back, Shakespeare, to the Grand Theatre.
Thanks.
It does sound as though there's the opposite of a recession in provincial theatre. I mean, a week ago, less than a week ago, I was at the Palace Theatre in Manchester, welcoming the reopening of that, and now here we are in Blackpool. I mean, is this part of a trend, do you think? Are there other audiences waiting to get in?
I hope so. I think it's terrific. I mean, the trend, if it's going to be a trend, seems to be led by this part of the country. But I'm particularly pleased to be here at the reopening of this very beautiful theatre. I think that whether or not there is a desire to actually go back to the theatre in larger numbers, the important thing is that some of these beautiful buildings are kept, because part of the experience of theatre going is being in a nice theatre, and this is a beautiful theatre.
Brunella, what sort of houses have you been playing to on tour with this?
Well, fantastic, you see, and I think it's the British public asserting themselves, you know. All right, so there's more leisure either because of unemployment or because of the whole leisure phenomenon, and I think they want to come and hear some words and come to a beautiful building like this. It's not only a beautiful building to come to, it's a very cheap building to come to. The top price in this theatre is £3.80. Well, that's not bad, you know, for the sort of evening we hope we're offering, you know.
Do you think Shakespeare is going to go well in Blackpool? Let's forget this week, because it is your opening week. Will it come back, do you think?
I would think so.
I would think so, yes. I mean, they're very good stories, and if you do them half well, it entertains a very great number of people.
I'm sure you both did extremely well. What I want to ask you, Prunella, is will you be popping into Yates's Wine Lodge?
Yeah, well, last time I went in there, I was thrown out because they thought I was underage. It was a very, very long time ago, and I was wearing flats at the time, but I wasn't underage, and I was thrown out of Yates's Wine Lodge with Eric Porter, and so I shall go along today and hope they don't recognise me.
Hope they throw you out again. Yeah.
They shouldn't throw you out because you're well known through your sherry advertisements now, of course.
Yes, I suppose so, yes. I mean, jokes about with or without.
The actor's secrets. Then I also talked to Geoffrey Thompson. He's chairman of the Theatre Trust. Geoffrey, it's a total of something like 350,000. It sounds like a bargain.
It is a bargain indeed. We got quite a good price out of the EMI company when we bought it, and we've raised all the money with private subscriptions from local people and local companies in Blackpool, helped a little by Blackpool Corporation and the Arts Council.
But from now, it's money over the counter. You've no grants to come in to keep it going, have you?
From now on, it's entirely up to us to keep the theatre a viable entity. We get no grants from the local council, the county council, or any government department beyond.
Right.